Hey, it's Robert Clickybeard, the host of the Commercial Landscaper podcast. For the next 30 minutes, I'm inviting you to high-impact conversation with some of the most accomplished leaders and entrepreneurs in our space. This isn't fluff. It's real, battle-tested insight rooted into my book, The Ironman Mindset for Entrepreneurs, that will challenge you to grow as a leader, stretch yourself beyond your comfort zone, and scale your business the smart way. Our audience has now doubled, and I'm hearing every week how these episodes are helping business owners sharpen their edge, increase profitability, and raise the bar across the industry. So here's my ask. If this episode sparks something for you, please share it with either a teammate, fellow business owner, or a friend that needs that extra push. We're building something bigger here, and I want you to be part of it. Big news. Our digital courses are now live at wilson360.com. These are built for ambitious leaders like you, alongside training classes designed to build your team, along with the tools they need to win. I'm also thrilled to welcome our new sponsor, Bomb Data. They're transforming how commercial landscapers manage labor with intuitive analysis and help you control costs and boost margins. Check them out, and if you're ready to make data your competitive advantage. Thanks for listening, and let's keep pushing things forward.
Urtur is a lifestyle brand born from grit, founded by Zach Strauser. Their mission is clear: to raise $1 million for the trades by supporting vocational training across North America. Urtur makes tough, smart gear built for landscaping and snow pros who work hard outside every day in all conditions. Their apparel puts safety first, helps crews look sharp, and honors the pride in their craft. Every purchase has purpose, fueling training programs and building a resilient workforce. Urtur isn't just workwear, it's a culture of respect, resilience, and results.
Hi, this is Robert Clickybeard with the Commercial Landscaper podcast. Really excited today to be joined by Nate Birkholz. Nate, good to see you today.
Good to see you.
Love the audience to know a little bit about your background, who you're with. Maybe just spend a couple minutes on that.
I was an attorney first, so out of law school, I learned tax law and then went into investments and trust planning. And when I was doing a lot of trust work, it put me in front of family offices. And that's why Jim Dew at Do Wealth hired me. Do Wealth is a fractional family office firm for business owners. Our only clients are business owners. That we require that. You have to be first generation founder of your business to work with us. So we know the issues of business owners, and we fractionalize the family office to deliver full service across all domains of wealth. That's what put us in a unique position to be advisors to the entrepreneur.
Oh, I love that, especially with the business owner piece, because it's a totally different mentality to maybe some type of legacy wealth or something. So business owners go through all the highs and lows, all the different challenges.
Exactly. What we see frequently is people have had an advisor that focuses primarily on capturing retirement dollars. Where someone's retired, they roll their 401k over. That's their bread and butter for most advisory firms. Where we said, let's look at the ones we enjoy the most. That's people creating wealth. That's the business owner. They have all the same problems that big businesses have, but they only have one person fixing it, that being the owner. How can we support them? That was the question that was asked, and that was the genesis of the firm Do Wealth.
Now, we're recording this on April the 17th, 2025, a couple of days after tax day. So I'm sure your phone was going off the hook, or maybe it was Zoom, just with tax strategies, some advice on either avoiding paying tax or just the best advice there. So I suppose maybe just talk through what those conversations look like, and they probably even go back into November, December of last year, just to talk through those ideas.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. It's right after April 15th. So a lot of people have been calling us because they wrote a big check. And that's usually the first thing I ask them: how much did you pay? Let me hear that number. Does it feel good to pay that number? And no one enjoys paying taxes. If I've met someone that pays taxes and enjoys it, they're probably lying to me. So then we start talking about what to do. That is a deep dive. When we're working with people, we first have to get that mentality past this April 15th model. Because so many business owners are stuck working with a tax preparer that waits until the year's done, says, send me your information. They write it down and get it done by the 15th. That April 15th mindset, it eliminates the ability to plan. So I call those CPAs tax historians. What I want is a tax planner, and we're tax strategists. We're going to look at throughout the year, what should we be doing to structure our business, structure our income, and what else should we be doing to reduce taxes before that December 31st. So when April 15th rolls around, we're just polishing it up, putting a bow on it, and our clients are paying less taxes. I'm getting owners to think more as a tax strategy instead of tax history. And that starts early on. So when people have been calling me this week, I hear about their numbers. It's painful. There's some big numbers that could have been put elsewhere in the business that could have impacted their personal lives better. And we say, let's take a look. So the first step we do with people is go backwards and say, what do we see in prior year returns? Because invariably we're going to find something that was missed or done wrong. And we'll get that fixed because we can't amend. We're also going to start looking at the data that's going in, because if you don't have good bookkeeping leading into your P&L and your ledger that your CPA then takes, now we've got bad information flowing into a tax return, and we're probably paying too much there. So I want to make sure you got A players around you too as a business owner to get those pieces right. Then we bring in the techniques, and those techniques, those we can spend some more time on too, but really the techniques are going to be tailored to each owner in the situation they have.
I'm going to pause you there, Nate, because I want to make sure that people understand the difference between what you do and, for example, your CPA, because a lot of people might say, oh, I don't have to worry about that because my CPA will take care of me, but they're just pretty much just plugging in the numbers that you're providing them. So you obviously know a lot more than I do. So maybe just talk through some of those differences so that, you have a unique technique.
Yeah, I frequently ask people, how often did you meet with your CPA this year? And when we're hitting that $1 million revenue mark and we're working up towards that mark, CPAs are usually spending one or two meetings a year with their clients. They're just collecting info, inputting info. There's no specific planning. So we've seen that and said, we got to fix this a little bit. So what we do is we get to know the business, we get to know the people, we get to know the structure. Now we're starting to say, let's get this together so we know what we want to hit the tax return and how. Now we're doing some strategy. Now we're doing some planning. We still don't file the returns ourselves, but now we bring them to a CPA that is able to keep pace with your growing business. So here's what we spotted. What else do you see, Mr. or Mrs. CPA? Now we've got this good collaboration with a specialist who is also thinking planning and a strategist at our firm who's looking long-term to how to make this work together. Then a return is drafted and it comes to us first. And we dig into it and we start finding, did they get it right? Did they implement all the pieces that we've done? We don't just generate a report and say, do this. We're going to take it right through implementation. Just this week, 15th, on tax day, the morning of, we got a tax return from a CPA that was off by $200,000.
Whoa.
With $200,000. And the client calls me earlier than business hours and says, I just got this. What do I do? And our first answer is we're going to figure this out because we know exactly what we expected to see on that return because we did the work with you ahead of time. And sure enough, we found a couple errors, a couple of missed pieces that answered the question for a CPA that they just lost in the process. But because we have this built in to come to us for review beforehand, we can really usher this through. We can get these techniques not only suggested, but implemented. And then we review to make sure that we're implemented correctly. So yes, that client not only is going to have about $200,000 of savings, but we were able to help them get closed on a property. Actually closing tomorrow. And when they close on that property, we're going to be able to take an awful lot of depreciation to offset future taxes too. So if I look at it as 1 year, there's $200,000 of fix. Over 2 years, now we've got strategy coming in and we've got 200 happening again. So that is $400,000 that can otherwise be deployed in the business or put into the invested assets that the clients want to use to support them in the day when they're not running the business. So it can be very rewarding just to give clients the ability to determine what they want to do with their capital rather than just sending it to the government and hoping they got it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm assuming that, when you talk about business, you're also encompassing some of what their personal circumstances. Maybe they have family, maybe they have the kids. So I'm assuming some of those strategies come into some of your advice as well. Is that fair?
It is. And since we work with business owners in particular, we have a good understanding of how closely intertwined that business is with the personal and maybe even like accidentally intermeshed on some of the personal finances. So that helps us get the bookkeeping right. But second, we're looking at what do we want this business to do for the family and what are the family goals and why. The values behind the goals is really more interesting to me because then we can help people define their goals better if we know why they want something to happen. Now, when we have the kids in the business, that's a nice piece that we can look at and say, your kids are young, but I see them on every ad that you guys are posting. They're in all these pictures of you guys getting these projects done. We can pay them for that. Now you could pay your kids by just taking money out of your pocket that you paid yourself, or you can pay them through the business. And our kids aren't going to pay taxes on that first 14,000 or so. So rather than give our kids just money from an allowance, let's pay them through the business. They're not going to pay tax on it. It's a deduction to you because it's wages. And now we can use that as kids' income to start funding their own Roth. And if we can get Roth IRAs funded in our early years, gosh, what was the numbers? I ran it if we did it for a 5-year-old until age 25. So imagine having one of the kids getting a couple bucks from you from the business, filling 7,000 a year into a Roth. Now we're talking at age 60 when they can start taking from the Roth, they've already got $1 million set aside. It's the magic of being really young and having compounding for them. So if I can get the kids integrated into the business and we can get them paid intelligently and strategically, not only can we reduce taxes, but we can impact the retirement of the kids down the road too.
I come across a lot of owners who are looking to either sell or retire. A lot of the time they come to me, unfortunately, when they think their business is worth a lot more than it is because they haven't done a lot of planning, for some type of an exit. I quickly uncover that they've not spent a great deal of time, either investing, they've put so much stock into having a nice exit, getting a big chunk of money. That's going to lead into funding their retirement, but often that doesn't necessarily happen. What are some of the other strategies that you help owners with? They're beginning to invest some of that money.
Yeah, let's start with having a good idea of what their business is worth. And on our front end assessments, one of the things we do is a informal comparables valuation. We have the same database that the investment bankers use when they are selling a business. And we can enter everything about the business and get an idea of what similar businesses have sold for. So right there, we can say, here's the data set in your community, businesses your side, how much they sold for. What was the multiple on their revenue, for example? So we can give them a good idea of how much their business is worth to the market at that point. That allows us to have the conversations of, is this the asset we're going to rely on for our golden years? Do we have something that we can sell? And we can start planning around that. Perhaps it's one path we keep. The other side, though, we want to make sure people are taking money off the table. Now, if I would look at the asset that we have that's our small business, it's private equity. Private equity is fantastic because you're betting on yourself here. You're saying, I know how to make this grow. I know how to put this money to work. I can impact what's happening here. But I'd like to also hedge that bet on ourselves too, and start building up that safe piece. Now, we don't require people to invest with us, but I do put a discipline in front of everyone, especially when we're saving money on taxes. I'll ask them, if we find that $200,000 for you, where are we going to put that? Should we start building out that passive side piece? And we'll show them how to do it on their own. We'll show them how to open a free brokerage account and build out a passive ETF intelligent strategy just to make sure they're exposed to the market. It's not always everyone's favorite, but it's a good part of diversifying their risk. If the business fails and everything's gone, everything's in right there, then we lose it all. We want to make sure we have other pieces out there. That kind of asset allocation or diversification across multiple asset classes is one of the disciplines we teach here. You're saving money now. Let's make sure it's still going to be there for us in the future. We're building the business now. Let's make sure we can harvest that value. And if we do have a sellable business, let's make sure we have some strategy going into that and not just wait for it to happen, or we are forced to sell. Because that's all too often what happens. People either sell, they have to give it away, or they burn out. I don't want to see the burnout. I want to see self-determination from business owners. You got there by having agency, being in control of their business. Let's give them the ability to decide when and where they sell and how.
I'm a big fan of surrounding yourself by smarter people than yourself. And, I'm involved in a lot of the, M&A space. And I talk about building your deal team, whether it be creating a strategy for next year, or maybe you're looking to buy or sell or something, but surrounding yourself with some great people. And, I'm talking about, maybe a banker, your CPA, legal counsel. But, at what point or maybe what size of business should they start to think about some type of a fractional wealth advisor just to be on that deal team per se?
You've got that deal team. You've got that team already that's surrounding you. It's CPA, it's accounting, it's tax, it's corporate law, it's estate planning, it's insurance, which is so important. You're stuck kind of in the middle running all of those. When we get to the point where that's taking time for you to manage your professionals rather than build the business, now you're starting to feel the loss. And we always talk about waste in the system. So we actually put together a wealth waster calculator for you to hop on, plug in some numbers, and you'll see on average at your level level what you are wasting. But to get to the number of at what level do I say, hey, it's time to hire us? Generally, if you've got $1 million in revenue, you need the tax help, and we'll get on top of the taxes. As soon as you hit that million net, your problems are wild. And I've seen people tell me they've just walked in and said, Nate, when I hit $1 million of revenue, that was my goal all along because I thought it'd be easier, and it's harder than ever. Like, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying because you've got so many things you need to manage now. So when you hit that million net, now it makes sense to bring us in. And a fractional family office will sit there and interact with all of those professionals around you, the whole deal team, for example. What we do then is bring completed projects to you. If we hear you're needing to acquire a new location, a new building, you've got it identified, we take it from there. If we're using debt, we'll help with the debt application. If we are doing the closing, we can take care of that for you. Everything that we bring to you in our meetings is here. This is decision ready, or this is signature ready. Nice little bow on it. You didn't have to do all the busy work. You just know that what you wanted to happen is now happening. Our meetings then also cover, here's 2 other things I need from you so I can complete this task. And we always ask, what else is bothering you? What's annoying? What's on your desk? If we can take it off your desk, it allows you to focus on the business, which is where you're driving the revenue growth and wealth creation. That's really our mission, is to free you up, free your resources and your time so you can impact the people around you.
It's the same happening within your business. I mean, the goal is for you to be hiring these A players as managers, leadership team, to get to free up for you working on the business. So it's the same with that external deal team. So 100%. Any other advice you would give out there to people who are the business owners who are thinking, well, I probably need somebody like that, or I need to think about some of these strategies? Or
let's talk about one in particular. It could be, there could be a multitude of things, but there's one I saw recur over and over recently, and that's the qualified business income deduction, QBI for short. It's one of those deductions that was put in the Tax Cut and Jobs Act back in 2017, but I've seen a lot of them done wrong, done partially, or just flat out missing the optimization. And there is some strategy to putting that together that's missed out on if you're not doing the planning in 2025, so you can get the full deduction now in 2026. There's some pieces we can look at and say, oops, we did it wrong in 2024. We're going to amend and fix it and get that money this year. Because that can be impacted, it should be 20% of your business income as a deduction. And if we miss that number, I know we need to look deeper. So just about every person that called us and said, I think we need help with taxes, when we looked at that, I think it was about 75% had that part done wrong. So that is one that I think is a leave behind. That's my message from 2025 in April. Let's make sure we're capturing that one. From there, we'll go through a whole laundry list of other techniques for people. But having seen that one missed enough, it's caused me to say, hey, give us a call. We should probably take a look. Let's dig in and see what else we can find. We can give you an average number too. The average savings this year for those that went through our tax program was $94,000. So we had 90-day engagements where we go in there and find, on average for our clients, about $94,000 of tax savings. So there's some big numbers, there's some small numbers, but everyone got an ROI in the fee they paid us.
what was that? I want to make sure people really listen carefully. What was they should be looking for?
Say that one more time. What should they be looking for on the
QBI? What was the thing you found missing quite a bit?
Qualified business income deduction.
Qualified business.
QBI for short. It's on page 1 of your tax return. Near the bottom, you'll see a line that says qualified business income deduction, and there should be a number that equals 20% of your business revenue. That's the first stop I make on a tax return, is that line. Did we get that? Let's make sure we got it right. There's a couple tricks to getting it that people miss, that there's a wage component. If I pay a lot of wages, I could probably increase this. They also miss that there's an ability to aggregate other businesses together to maximize that too. So that's the one I look at first and foremost when I see the tax return, because I saw enough errors.
I know we're running out of time here, but I know we're going to include a link when we release this podcast. But do you want to just maybe share how they can reach you? What's the best way to connect with you, or anything else they should be doing in the meantime?
What I'll do is I'm going to leave a link here for everyone. It's a URL that goes to our wealth waster calculator. You can hop in there, answer a couple questions, and it'll give you a summary of how much on average people at your revenue level are leaving on the table. And that's also equates to what are we able to track down and find for people. So that wealth waste calculator is great. And at the end of it, there's contact info. I'm also going to leave a link that's just a direct link to my calendar. So you can grab half-hour time with me and we'll talk about tax strategy and figure out where you are today, where you want it to be, and what we should do or what we can do to get you where you are. So you'll have 2 links in the description here, the wealth waster calculator and then my calendar link directly.
Awesome, Nate. Really appreciate your time today, sharing your knowledge. Hopefully people listen carefully and take some action. Yeah, there's a bunch of business owners that listen to this show, so I'm sure you'll get a few people reaching out to you. So thank you again, Nate, for your time.
Yeah, happy to help. And hey, great chatting with you. It's good to see you as always.
Okay, cheers. Okay, thank you. That's a wrap for today's episode of the Commercial Landscaper podcast. I hope you're walking away with one powerful insight you can apply immediately, whether it's in your leadership function, your operations, or how you show up every day with that Ironman mindset. Remember, growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens through intentional moves, bold conversations, and surrounding yourself with the right voices. That's what this podcast is all about. If you found value today, do me a favor. Subscribe, leave a review, share this episode with someone in your circle who's ready to raise their game. And don't forget, our Wilson 360 digital courses are now live and ready to go. So go to wilson360.com, explore the tools that are helping hundreds of contractors to level up across leadership, account management, and operations and more. And a huge shout out again to Bomb Data, our newest sponsor, helping landscapers make smarter decisions with real-time labor analytics. If you're serious about margins, they should be on your radar. Until next time, stay sharp, stay focused, and keep leading with purpose. Have a pure, dead, brilliant day. Cheers, everyone.